She a little bad, hit her with the bag, yeah. Put it on the tab, don't know how to act, yeah. How you like that?
Let's do a story time while I do my nighttime skincare routine. I think around November or ending of October last year, I got into a little accident. A minor collision. It was kind of like a rear ending of another car. I just finished work. I was kind of recovering from a cold on this day. Taking the daytime Dayquil, so I was feeling a little fatigued. Not far away from where I parked my car. I was just about to enter the highway. I was changing lanes and the car stopped randomly. Like I was not expecting the car to stop. I was trying to press my brake and my brake was just not responding. It was like it was not responding. The car was slowing down but not fast enough. So by the time I hit the cash is my point. Okay. After that, the guy came down from his car and was like, okay, so what do we do now? We exchanged. I know collect insurance information, collect license information, so I knew to do that. We were like, okay, we need to call the police because it happened just as we were about to enter the highway. So he called the police, he got the address. I was so shook that day that I was not even like, my mind was just kind of like, what has happened? So the guy was the one handling the calling of the police, and they told us to go to a particular collision center to report the accident. There was someone at the parking lot that assessed my car, and then he was like, oh, this is not where you, and asked me questions, and I was like, oh, this is not the police station you come to, you have to go to another police station somewhere else, right? So I waited for the man to get there too, because the person I hit, right, he got there after me. So I waited a bit for him to get there, and then I told him what the guy had told me, and so we're like, okay, let's drive to the other police station. You guys, I was already tired on this day. I was kind of like done with this. I just wanted to go to my house and sleep and recover from my cold. My car was a bit dented. His car was just a little scratch, so it wasn't like, ooh, it was a serious thing. I could still drive my car. My car was still drivable. So while we're driving to the other collision center, just randomly, this random guy just waved me down like, you cannot drive this car, like stop, you can't drive this car, pull to the side, stop, you can't drive this car, blah blah blah. And this man was just going on and on, telling me about how like just explaining the damage that had happened to the front of my car, right? And it was like, don't even continue to drive this car, that you think, you know, you had an accident, you would have a worse one if you continue to drive this car. The guy also he had an auto repair shop, so he was also trying to get my business, trying to get me to, you know, go with him to repair my car. So I was already shook. I was kind of like, I was trying to figure out what to do. The guy was trying to convince me to go with him, and he would deal with the whole car situation. He would help me with my car. He would help me to tow my car to his shop. The person that was with me, he was like, are you sure you want to go with this random person? We don't know him. He just came into our life just randomly like this. Like, who is this one and why are you trying to get us to go with you, kind of thing, right? And I was crying. So I don't want to go with him, obviously. So I called my partner and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do in this situation? I had a roadside assistance plan, something. So I decided to just call them and, you know, see if they could tow my car to the collision center so we can report the collision. So I was able to get them to come, and I told the man, yes, thank you for your help, thank you for telling me to pull aside and letting me know that my car is not safe to drive, so I'm gonna stop. Thank you for that, but I'm not going with you. So the guy I hit asked me if I wanted him to wait with me while I wait for the Toyota tow truck, and I was like, no, you can go ahead to the collision center and report, you know, what happened, and then I'll meet you there, or I'll go after you, because we didn't actually have to go at the same time. We didn't have to go together. I waited for my tow truck to come. The tow truck came, carried my car, took me to the collision center, and, you know, I reported the situation. And then the next thing was to take my car to a where it's going to be repaired, because again, I can't, where's the tow truck taking the car to? They need to take it to the repair shop. So I took it to a Toyota center to report the accident. And at this time, it was already after hours, so they were pretty much closed. They attempted to see, because where I work is far from where I live, so they attempted to see if they could call me an Uber, and then they were just like, oh, you're too far away, you need to live within this a certain distance before we can give you an Uber to go home. So I had to figure out the Uber by myself. But the reason why I'm saying this story is not even because I just want to just talk about it, but I feel like the way God works in my life is so interesting. I don't know, like I feel like God allows little things to happen to me just to avoid bigger things happening. I don't know how to put it. Because by the time when my car got to the mechanic and they were fixing it, it took almost a month and a half for the car to be ready. It was just one thing or the other. They found a lot of things wrong with the car, to be honest. They found a whole lot of things wrong with the car, and I could not have driven that car during winter, to be fair, because just the way it was at the time that I had the accident, I could not have. They found issues with the brake, they found issues with, there were so many problems. When I tell you there were so many problems, the car was not safe. It was just God that was holding me like this, this child, I'm not going to leave you alone. So that accident needed to happen for me to take my car seriously, is what I'm trying to say. Or God was protecting me from something totally different. The accident could have happened on the highway. As I said, I was about to enter the highway. The random man that stopped me out of nowhere telling me, you cannot drive this car, you need to stop it right now. He could just be trying to get business for himself, so we don't know. But my point is, the fact that someone stopped me, he stopped me just randomly telling me, you cannot drive this car, it is not safe to drive this car, just stop. Yeah, it gave me this feeling like I wasn't, even though I was surrounded by two strange men, well, not strange men, but strangers, okay, I was still kind of like, I still did not feel like I was alone. Yes, I also had my partner on the phone, just updating him as to what was going on, but I just felt like God allowed that to happen for a reason, and I can't tell you right now like what the reason was or what God protected me from. It's just clear to me in that moment, in that instance, that this was God protecting me. And you know, the reason the car stops, again, I told you, right, this is not necessarily where cars would stop, but the reason the car stopped was because pedestrians, and again, pedestrians were not meant to cross, pedestrians were meant to wait for cars to pass first, because it was on the ramp leading to the highway. So pedestrians using wheelchair were passing. I just saw them quickly. I wasn't really like paying attention, but these pedestrians were in wheelchairs, and it reminded me of my sister too, because my sister used wheelchair when she was alive, right? So it reminded me of my sister too. Like, was it an intervention? I don't know, you guys, I really don't know. I'm saying this story time because maybe a little also just trying to say that sometimes God might be working something out in your life that you are not certain is God, but when you really look at it deeply and you think deeper, it is God placing things as they should be. I don't even know if that makes sense, but that's just how I felt about that situation. And obviously I did not have my car for 1.5 months, but it was not necessarily an inconvenience, even though it was a little bit of an inconvenience, but it wasn't an inconvenience because I had another car to use, thank God. I'm just here to say that God sometimes works in funny ways. He allows, I feel like sometimes what I've noticed in my life is he allows small things to happen just to avoid the big things. If you're Nigerian, you probably believe the same, right? Where like, you don't know what God is preventing you from. You know, when you miss your flight and you're like, there's a reason for why I missed my flight. Maybe God was trying to make me not, all those things, right? We really don't know what God is protecting us from. Sometimes we're just living our day-to-day just thinking, oh yeah, I'm just living my day-to-day, but God is in the background working. God is working, God is protecting, God is looking over us, and it makes the way the whole thing just went made me feel safe. It made me feel safe. It made me feel like, okay, I am covered. I am covered. I am not alone. I am not walking this life by myself. Anyway, that's why I said I should say this story. Let me know if you guys can relate or you've had similar experiences. I'd like to know. Leave a comment.
She a little bad. Hit her with the bag. Yeah. Put it on the tab.